Hello, welcome to White Threads FlossTube number 108. It's been absolutely weeks since I've been with you for a video and I apologise for that. I've just had the craft show about 2 or 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago probably now. And before that I was getting ready for it. After it I took some time off to be with my family and I'm back now. So yay! The craft show was amazing. It went really, really well, despite the fact that there was torrential rain. So the last show that I did was in Brisbane previously, and I actually got flooded out of that. If I hadn't raced out of there, packed everything in my car in 2.5 hours flat, and gotten out of there, I would have been stuck in Brisbane because there would have been floodwaters preventing me from getting home. So it wasn't quite that bad in Sydney. There were a lot of floodwaters around, but none of them affected me. And but I do know that they affected other people, which it's just been flood after flood after flood for many in Sydney and other regions. And I can't imagine how hard that is to deal with. Anyway, so that was happening while the craft show was on. There was also a train strike at the same time, and a lot of people come to the craft show via train. And there was also a teacher strike on one day, so I think there were probably a lot of people who stayed home to look after their children that day, whereas otherwise, or grandparents who looked after their grandchildren that day so that their children could work, who otherwise might have come to the craft show. So despite all of that, I had my best show ever. So thank you to all who came and visited me and said hello to me and bought my things, and I hope you're enjoying them because I had a fantastic time. It was the first time the craft show's run in, well, there were 2 that were cancelled, so it's 3 years since I'd seen a lot of people. And the craft show in Sydney is one where I love to catch up with my regular customers and find out how they're doing and what they've been working on and how life's been in general for a lot of people over the last few years. It was lovely to make some new stallholder friends with my neighbours, and it was lovely to see previous neighbours again after such a long time. So it was in a new location this year. We were at the Dome at the Sydney Showground in Homebush. Previously we'd been at the ICC, the International Convention Centre in Darling Harbour, which is a very central location for a lot of people, but being out at Homebush is actually closer to the geographic centre of Sydney. I loved the venue. I thought it was great. It wasn't this horrible dark cavern like the ICC was. We're never going to have something as bright and as beautiful as the temporary home that we had at White Bay, which was a temporary structure that came from the Sydney Olympics and had beautiful translucent ceilings, so there was just light coming in the whole time. We're never going to have that again, and we need to accept that. I'm still having trouble accepting that. It's many years ago now. But this new venue was great. It was just a really lovely venue. I have no idea what the food was like. I was stuck in my stall the whole time and I didn't actually eat any, but hopefully that was good for the people who visited. I think I was actually really the only embroidery stall there, which is great for me, but harder for people who came looking for specific things and didn't find them with me. So there was one girl that I spoke to who she'd come with a whole list of DMC threads to purchase and she'd been able to get none of them. And that's really disappointing. So if you are a craft stall, an embroidery store, or an embroidery business and you have some things, I would like to just say to you, there is a real opportunity for you at the Sydney Craft and Quilt Fair next year. I'm intending to be there, but I might be the only embroidery stall there. So, you know, come along, bring your stuff. We might be slightly in competition with each other, but we probably won't. We'll just make a better range for all of the customers to purchase from. So if you are that person, seriously consider doing it. I had my best show ever. Because people were just so excited to be out and spending money again. So yeah, seriously consider it. It was great. While I was there at the craft show, apparently I was launching my Frisian White workbook. This must be the longest book launch ever because it came out in May last year. But we didn't get to launch it last year because the craft show was cancelled. So yes, apparently I was launching it. Anyway, it did very well. People were very pleased to be able to buy the supplies pack so that they could make the projects from the book. So that was great. Now, since coming back from my leave, I have added all of the new products to my website that I had new at the craft show. So to show you what they are, I developed another new little tin kit to go with the other existing ones that I have. So this one is a Portuguese white work tin kit, and so that's new. And that comes as a kit which has got everything in it that you need to make that except for the scissors. So there's instructions on how to do it. There's the tin itself, there's the binding, there's the lining for the back, there's the fabric, the thread and the needles, and you know, the puffy stuff and the adhesive and all of that stuff. So it's a little tin with embroidery on top. So the kit comes with everything for that. Then there's a new fabric that I've got. I like to have fabrics that other people don't generally stock. So yes, I've got Zweigart because, you know, that's what a lot of people use, but I've also got Wedigan linen, and I've got Valpel and Highland Beck linen banding, and I've got some Sotima linens as well. So this is a new one for me. This is Sotima 450 linen, and it's a very, very wide fabric. This looks quite creased, doesn't it? It's linen, you can tell that. It's a lovely, lovely fine weave fabric. So this is 60 count fabric. You can use it as an even weave linen if you want to, or you could just work surface embroidery on it. Either way, it's beautiful linen. It's very, very wide. I think it's about 270 centimeters wide. So I won't be supplying it in the full width unless you contact me with a special request. I will be generally just selling it half width, which is about 135, yeah, 135, and as fat quarters and fat eighths. So that's the new fabric. It's beautiful fabric. I was working a monogram on some of this during the craft shows because I always like to be able to demonstrate something as I'm stitching, and that was what I was stitching. The monogram itself worked out pretty badly because I kept being interrupted by customers, which is fine. I'm actually okay with that. But the lighting was really bad as well, so I'm not going to show you that because it wasn't very good. Maybe I'll do it again sometime. And the other thing to show you is cotton floche. So I now have cotton floche in stock. These are beautiful hanks of thread. So cotton floche is like DMC cotton embroider, but it's not the same as. So floche has more strands making up, so more ply making up each individual, the thread. So it says that it's a number 16, but it's not the same as a number 16 cotton embroider. It's actually more equivalent to a number 25 cotton embroider, but it's not the same as. This has more ply, so it has a smoother look to it than cotton embroider does. So the sorts of things that I recommend doing with this are satin stitch, because it's just such a lovely smooth thread. You could do drawn thread work and pulled thread work, monograms, you know, things like that. So it's a lovely, lovely thread, and it comes in a great big hank, so they're really lovely to use, and you've got lots there to use. So they are the main things that are on the website that's new. I think there might be one or two other things as well, but they're the main things. Now, I did also launch a couple of classes. Well, I launched one while I was there and talked to other people about the possibility of doing another one again. So I launched this as a class. I'm calling it the Parterre Hardanger Stitching Accessories Workshop. So parterre because it's a bit like an ornamental garden, you know, where they're all sectioned up. So it sort of looks a bit like that. And this is suitable for beginners through to advanced stitches. So wherever you are at, I will take you further than you have been before. The class is on the weekend of the 27th and 28th of August, so it's coming up in about 5 weeks time. It's here in Walker at Walker Handmade, which is the venue I use for my classes. There's a studio out the back. It's a creative cooperative, so there's a shop space at the front, and then we have our classes out the back. I love running classes here in Walker, and all the people who have been have given me fantastic feedback about how much they've enjoyed it. So it's a class that starts at 9 a.m. on the Saturday, runs through till 4 p.m. Then we come back again the next day, the Sunday, 9 to 4 again. On the Saturday night, we usually go out to dinner to the local pub so that we have some social time together. And that's always a really enjoyable time. They've got great food at our local pub, and it's a really nice, fun time for people to meet up and chat. And especially if you're traveling by yourself, it means that you don't have to have your dinner by yourself that night. You can have it with some other people who enjoy similar things than you do. So that's the parterre Hardanger stitching accessories workshop. And I'm also going to run my silk sampler workshop again. That was just so popular last year. So if you'd like to do that, that one is going to be on the 22nd and 23rd of October, another weekend, some time down the track. So I'll put links to how you can get more information about those projects, the classes, and how you can sign up for them. If you have any questions for me, please just ask. One of the questions that's been asked about this already is, can we get the pattern for it? Well, no, at this stage it's a class only, and that's something that I do as a privilege and a special thing for the people who actually sign up and come to my classes. Now, I know some of you can't get to my classes. You may be a very long way away. I don't mind if you travel, really. I mean, I've had people saying to me in Victoria, oh, it's such a long way away, I wish I could be closer. I've had people come from Victoria, a lot of people. I've had people who have come from Queensland. So, if you can travel, Walker's a fantastic place to come to. Lovely destination. So yes, if you can come, please do. For the sake of people who live further away, it may be that I run that as an online class in the future, and then further down the track I may release it as a pattern for people who are not able to get to me. I think that's all I have to say today. Yeah, I think it is. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.